हरि ओम। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। नमः श्री तुलसीदास सद्वरिष्ठाय धीमते पूरितं हृदयं येन रामप्रेमामृतेन मे। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे तु जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। So Hari Om and salutations to one and all. We were seeing the prasang where Valmiki ji is asked by Bhagwan Ram to tell him where should he take up an abode. And Valmiki ji tells him that first you tell me where you are not, then I can tell you where you can take up an abode. Valmiki ji speaks about, glorifies Bhagwan Ram as Brahman, as Ishvara, and for the sake of the devotees and the devatas, he has taken this avatar as Ram. And then he proceeds to explain. So these 14 abodes he is going to share now. The first one we saw, this is in Tulsi Ramayana Ayodhya Kand after Doha 127. In the second chaupai he says that. Sunahu Ram ab kahahu niketa jahan basahu siya lakhana sameta. That now I will tell you where you can stay with Lakshman ji and Sita ji. So first abode he tells him is Jinke Shravana Samudra Samana Katha Tumhari Subhaga Sarinhana, whose ears are like the ocean and they keep listening to your katha more and more. Bharahi Nirantar Hohi na Pure. Just like the ocean, as the ocean keeps getting filled by so many different types of rivers that come, but the ocean never gets satiated or filled completely. It doesn't say now don't come. Bharahi nirantar ho hi na pure, tinke hiya tuma kaho grihas rure. You please stay in their heart. In the heart of such people you stay. So this is about Shravan. See, who is a bhakta? Bhakta is one who loves Bhagwan. Not just somebody who is doing some rites, rituals. That is an expression of devotion, there is no doubt. But when there is love in the heart, what is the way in which that love will express? One wants to know more about the beloved. One wants to listen to the beloved. One wants to listen about the beloved. So listening itself is an expression of love. When we love somebody, we are willing to listen to them, what they have to say, what is their opinion, what do they think. In the same way, devotee wants to listen to more and more katha of the Lord and never feels satisfied, ki bas enough, I have heard enough times. So this is the first one, Jinke Shravana Samudra Samana. Now one very interesting thing here is that the word Ramayana has two meanings. Ayana means path. So Ramayana means the path that Sri Ram walked, meaning the path of dharma. That is one meaning. Second meaning of Ramayana is Ayana means an abode where someone stays. So Valmiki ji is the author of this Ramayana, which is he is the Adi Kavi, he is the The first Ramayana written by Valmiki ji in Sanskrit. Now, Valmiki ji, when he's speaking to Bhagwan Ram about 14 abodes where he should stay, he is also creating Ramayana through these abodes. These 7 kands of Ramayana are going to cover these 14 abodes. So with each abode, one aspect of the Ramayana as a book also is created. A very beautiful prasang this is. So Ramayana as a grantha also is the abode of Bhagwan Ram. And the hearts of people whose qualities he is giving, that is also abode of the Lord. So now this first line, first abode, Jinike Shravana Samudra Samana, that indicates the first half of the Balkand. In the Balkand we saw, see Tulsidas ji is writing this, okay. So using Valmiki ji's prasang, he is writing this whole thing. So in Tulsi Ramayana Balkand, first half if you see, there are so many devotees listed who have done tapasya of the Lord, who want to listen to the glory of the Lord. You know, many of them were given. Naradji's example was given, Shivji's example was given, Manu, Shatrupa, like that there are many. So all those devotees are covered by this first abode. Meaning we should become devotees like them who want to listen more and more to the Lord and follow the will of the Lord. So that's the first abode. Then the second abode is this chaupai, third chaupai. लोचन चातक जिन करि राखे रहहि दरस जलधर अभिलाषे निदरहि सरित सिंधु सर भारी रूप बिंदु जल होहि सुखारी तिनके हृदय सदन सुखदायक बसहु बंधु सिय सह रघुनायक. He says this is the second abode. Who Lochana Chatak, whose eyes are like this chakor pakshi. Jinkari Lochana Chataka Jinkari Rakhe. This chakor pakshi goes on looking at the clouds. There is lots of water all around, but it looks at the clouds. Rahahi darasa jaladhar abhilashe. Goes on looking jaladhar at the rain bearing clouds, not just the passing clouds which don't shower rains, or just the white clouds, they just move away. Not those rain bearing dark clouds, because the complexion of Bhagavan Ram is also like that, Megha Shyam, Ghanashyam. So this Chatak Pakshi goes on looking at that Jaladhar, the rain bearing cloud. Nidarahi Sarita Sindhu Sarabhari. There may be ocean around, there may be lakes and streams around, but it will ignore all the water in all these places. Rupa Bindu Jala Hohi Sukhari. Only when the first drop of water falls, the rain falls, it wants that first drop. Same way for the devotee, there may be lots of things in the world which are glamorous, glitterous, all that, which may be tempting also. But the devotee wants to look only at the form of the Lord. The famous bhajan is there, no? Darshan do ghan shyam nath mori akhiya pyasi re. So they wait for that. Okay, oh Lord, I want to see your form. So with the eyes, they look at the form, whether it is the murti of the Lord or whether it is a picture of the Lord. And in the mind, they visualize the form more and more and more. They don't brood over sense objects. When we see something, the image of that is created on our mind. And then we brood on that. We want more and more happiness from that. When we look at the form of the Lord, the devotee will keep thinking only of the form of the Lord, and that one drop is what the devotee wants, that darshan of Bhagavan. All happiness that the devotee will feel is only from that. Doesn't get carried away by the worldly names and forms. So, Nidarahi Sarita Sindhu Sarabhari Rupa Bindu Jala Hohi Sukhari. Now, who are the devotees like that in this Ramayana? So, Balkand second half, if you see, when Bhagwan Ram is born, then to have darshan of that form of Bhagwan Ram. See, Manu and Shatrupa have done lot of tapasya to get Bhagwan Ram as their child. So all of them, those devotees, Dashrath Maharaj, Kaushalya Devi, all the other queens, all the Ayodhya Vasis, all of them, they are indicated. Shivji takes a special form and he goes there to just see the Bal Roop of his Ishtadevta, Bhagwan Ram. Naradji, Shivji, they all go there. So they are the devotees indicated here through Ramayana. So the second house is also Balkand. So Balkand, two houses are there. Those who want to listen to the glories of the Lord, those who want to see the form of the Lord, darshan. See, when we do japa also, that intensity must be there that today Bhagwan will give darshan to me. It should not be mechanical. The bhav is that ki Bhagwan will give darshan. And just because we study Vedanta does not mean that darshan of Bhagwan does not happen. Sometimes people think it's all symbolic only. It's only consciousness. There is no darshan version. There is no form. It's all symbolic. It's not symbolic. If you and I have a form, Bhagwan also has a form. If we can manifest like this, why cannot Bhagwan manifest? Earlier it was said, no, Chidanandamaya Deha Tumhari. You know, it is said about Anandamayi Ma. Some devotees have said it, that she is many people know that she is a realized master. But some devotees have experienced that her body is like this, Chidanandamaya Deha Tumhari. When they prostrate and they bow down, they touch the feet, their hand just goes through. There are no bones there. There is no flesh there, it seems. These things we don't understand easily because we look at it from a very limited standpoint of so-called science that we know. So when we think about Vedanta, then we say the absolute state is pure consciousness, but at the relative level, we have a form. Bhagwan also has a form, and Bhagwan gives darshan. When the mind becomes so pure and sattvic, that mind Vishuddha Sattva, when it comes, the darshan of the Lord happens. These are the devotees who want darshan of the Lord. Not just as avatar. See, Bhagwan's darshan happens when he takes an avatar, then everybody sees. But even when he takes an avatar, not everybody perceives him as that Supreme Lord. Like Krishna avatar, how many people saw him as Bhagwan? There are so many who were deluded. They still think of him, Duryodhan wanted to capture him also. They still think of him as some, cowherd boy, the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. They look at him as an ordinary mortal. So even if Bhagwan takes avatar, many people won't recognize. So one way is Bhagwan takes avatar and the devotees have darshan. For them, Bhagwan took avatar. But other is Adhyatmik avatar. Bhagwan manifests in the heart of the devotee also, and the vision of the Lord also happens. Like Namdev used to play with Vitthal, literally play with Vitthal. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had the vision of Mother Kali. He used to talk to Mother Kali. A lot of people dismiss it, oh, it is all mental hallucination. It is not. It is a very high state of purity of mind. As long as we are talking at the relative plane, Darshan of Bhagwan also is a fact. If we go to absolute plane, there's nothing to talk. There's only non-dual absolute one reality. So here are those devotees. So the idea here is that when we do japa, when we do puja, we should sit with that bhav that today Bhagwan's darshan will happen, and with that intensity one should sit there. You know, Ramakrishna used to wait every day, and in the evening when he finishes the puja and everything, he would feel sad. One more day went, darshan of Mother Kali didn't happen. These are devotees who feel like that. They are like the chatak bird, you know, chakor pakshi. Chakor pakshi goes on looking, waiting, waiting, waiting. You see, the progression of this kand wise, so each house will go according to the sequence. But if you look at the bhav of some of the devotees, like Shabri, she has never seen Bhagwan Ram. But Matang Rishi, her guru said that Ram will come. She had full faith in the guru's words and she kept on serving. Every day she will clean the place, she will keep water ready, she will pluck the fruits, she will keep the asan for years together, and she became old. She never doubted her guru's words, and the power of her tapasya is such. See, in Valmiki Ramayana it is said she already realized the truth even before Bhagwan Ram's darshan happened. She realized the truth. And after darshan happened, Bhagwan came. She served the Lord very lovingly. And then she said, Bhagwan, my objective is served now. This body was kept alive to have your darshan. Now, if you permit me, I would like to drop this body. And with Bhagwan's permission, she created a yoga agni and the body dropped. That's the power of the tapasya, that consistently every single day with Shraddha she kept doing, because the Guru said Bhagwan will come. And Tulsi Ramayan Prasang is so nice that he, in this Tulsidas, he says that Shabri ke ashram pagdhara, Bhagwan's feet automatically turn towards the ashram of Shabri. You know, just imagine how will Shabri know that this is Bhagwan? There is no photograph that she has to identify he is Bhagwan. And there is nobody to tell her that he is Bhagwan. The power of the bhakta, the power of bhakti in the heart is that the bhakta will recognize this is the Lord whom I have been worshipping. Intuitively one will know. As the power of the sadhana and purity. So this is the second house. Those devotees who want darshan of Bhagwan. See, absolute moksha is the highest goal. But before that, we can at least have something more tangible for us, saying that may I have darshan of Bhagwan. So this is the second house. Tinke hridaya sadana sukhdayak. The house of such people, the heart of such people will give you extreme happiness. Sukhdayak. Why? Because their heart is pure, clean. In other people's heart also Bhagwan is there, but there is all kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. So many things are there inside. Basahu bandhu siya saha raghunayak. Oh Lord, you please stay there along with Sita ji and Lakshman ji. Now we go to the third house. This is the Doha 128. Jasu tumhar manas bimala हमसी निजी हाजासु मुकुताहल गुण गण चुनई राम बसहु हियतासु सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय. So what does he say here? Jasu tumhar manas vimala. Hamsini jiha jasu. So he says that you dwell in the hearts of such people, Rama basahu hiyatasu, who are like this swan. What does this swan do? In this lake Manasarovar, it goes and picks the pearl. Mukutahala guna gana. What is the pearl? The pearl here represents the glories of the Lord. So using the speech, one who glorifies the Lord, you please live in the hearts of such people. Jasu tumhara manasa vimala. So the Mansarovar lake is the lake of Bhagwan's glory and fame. In that there are pearls which are his guna, his virtues, values, uncompromisingly what he lived, all those. Jasu tumhara manasa vimal. And this swan picks up those, meaning one who goes on singing the glories of the Lord. Kirtan sadhana is indicated here. Those who continuously do kirtan. Kirtan need not be only kirtan, it can be pravachan, it can be, when you are discussing about Bhagwan in a study group, Devi group, any such, where using speech. Earlier was eyes and ears. Now what we see, what we hear, that will become our thoughts. And then that we will speak about. So here it is the speech. And they sing the glory of the Lord, they use their speech. Kathayantascha mam nityam, tushyanti cha ramanti cha. They speak to each other. When two devotees meet, what will they talk? They will talk about Bhagavan, they will talk about sadhana, they will talk about the glory of the Lord, the Leela, the Mahima. Two people who they are interested in stock market. What will they talk? Which company stock went up? Which company stock came down? Two sportsmen, what will they talk? They'll talk about the game. Same way, two devotees. So if I look at myself as a devotee, then when I meet another devotee, what do I talk? This is something very important for us to think about. Because the devotion is 24/7. It is not 1 day, 2 day, or 1 hour in a week. Our Vani has a power. It can manifest what it says can happen. Vak Siddhi it is called. So this Vak Siddhi happens when the Vani is purified, when the mind is pure. How to purify this speech? Only way is seeing the glory of the Lord. Avoid gossip, backbiting, worldly talk. What to talk? No, Swamiji, everything is very difficult, very tough times are going on. Okay, let there be tough times. Know how to handle it. Rest of the time, the mind must be on the Lord. If the mind remains on Bhagwan, no time will look like tough time. Prahlad, did he ever complain? No complaint. His own father victimizing him? No complaint at all. In fact, he asked Bhagwan to forgive his father also. So the speech is a very powerful tool that we have. And that is why one of the important reasons why one should do japa loudly is also to purify the speech. No doubt mental japa is much more subtler, much more powerful than verbal. But how else to purify the speech? Go on taking the name of Bhagwan. Either be mount. Gurudev used to say, if your words cannot improve upon silence, don't talk. Very nice one. If the words cannot improve upon silence, don't talk. Even if we have to speak something, can it improve? Can it be positive? Can it be inspiring to people? Then speak. Otherwise, what unnecessary gossip one goes on doing? So, here the beautiful analogy given here is that like the Hamsini picks the pearl, like that the guna and gana, the values and virtues of Bhagwan There's one saying which goes, no, that a gossip is one who speaks about others. A bore is one who speaks about oneself. What will we talk? Either about others or about oneself. Both are anyway not leading to mukti, they lead to bandhan only. Might as well speak about the glory of Bhagavan. No, but then when we socialize and when we have so many other things to do, then limit to whatever work and other things or any positive ideas, projects, good things one can speak about. Another saying says na, that great minds discuss projects and ideas. Mediocre minds discuss events. Low minds discuss people. And in this three, the fourth one we should add, the highest one, the devotee speaks about Bhagavan. Full stop. Nothing more than Bhagavan or Shastra, Veda, Grantha, any of these. To keep our mind inspired, to purify our speech, that is all is required. So this Hamsa Pakshi, see why example of Hamsa is given, because Hamsa is the symbol of discrimination. It's a bird which can take milk and leave away water. That buddhi of ours should be like that. This Nitya and Anitya have got mixed up as though. You have to separate. Hold on to the Nitya, let go of this Anitya. In this context here, it is Guna. The values and virtues of Bhagavan we should pick up. A crow also will come to Manasarovar lake, pick up a stone and go. The swan knows to pick up the pearl. The same way it is. There are many people who come to satsang also. Some pick up the glory of the Lord and revel in that. Some pick up some stone and go, how to increase my concentration power, or how to, mend my relationship, or how to increase my profit. Some such thing one takes and goes. The devotee will pick, these are qualities of the Lord, and more one thinks about qualities of the Lord, more they get internalized. Compassion of Bhagavan. Just one quality if we think about how much Bhagavan's compassion is, how much he does quietly, unconditionally. Even before we know, so many things are already ready for us. Even challenges that the Lord gives are to make us more stronger. So more one thinks about the glories of the Lord, more the mind remains, more the speech gets purified. Now, who are these devotees in the Ramayana? So this Ayodhya Kand, those of you who have who are attending the regular Ayodhya Kand class, Tulsi Ramayana class, in this Ayodhya Kand, in the beginning you see, before first Doha, the fourth chaupai which comes, it says Rama Rupa Guna Sila Subhau Pramudita Hoi Dekhi Suni Rao. That all the Ayodhya Vasis and the ministers and everybody, they revel in the Rupa of the Lord, in the Guna of the Lord, in his character, in his gentle nature. And what are they praying? Sabke ur abhilasha asa kahi manai mahesu. They all are praying to Shivji. What? Aap achata juvaraj pada ramahi devu naresu. And they are telling Dashrath Maharaj also that you please give, this position of the prince to only Ram. So they go on talking about the glory of the Lord. And Dashrath Maharaj also is very happy to see that the whole Praja loves the Lord so much that they can't stop talking about the glory of the Lord. So Ayodhya Kand beginning, the third house is the beginning of Ayodhya Kand. Then the fourth house. So after Doha 128, Chaupai 1, 2 and half of the third, that is the fourth house. Prabhu Prasad Suchi Subhaga Subhasa Sadara Jasulahai Mitanasa Tumahi Nivedita Bhojana Karahi Prabhu Prasad Patabhushana Dharahi सीसन वही सुर गुरु द्विज देखी प्रीति सहित कर विनय विशेषी करनित करहि राम पद पूजा राम भरोसा हृदय नहीं दूजा चरण राम तीरथ चली जाहि राम बसहु तिनके मन माही. So this is the fourth house. So the Lord says here, Tulsidas ji says here, Prabhu Prasad Suchi Subhaga Subhasa. So ears were covered, eyes were covered, speech was covered. Now this is not just one, these are many qualities put together. So first he says here is Prabhu Prasad Suchi Subhaga Subhasa. One who offers Naivedya to the Lord, offers Chandan, Agarbatti, all that. And who smells those, whose sense of smell, he, Prabhu Prasad Suchi Subhaga Subhasa. The suvasa of those things is what one takes as the prasad. Sadara Jasu Lahai Nitanasa. Every day they offer these beautiful things to train the sense of smell. So the flowers that are offered to the Lord, they will take that. In South India and many other places, you will find the pujaris, after the archana, etc. is done, they will take one flower, smell and put it behind their ears. Because sense of smell also should be turned to the divine. Smell is one of the most underutilized of the senses. So they take that smell or the chandan that is offered to the Lord. Then after offering to the Lord, they will apply. Or the agarbatti when it is offered. So those things to train the sense of smell. Tumahi nivedita bhojana karahi. Even the naivedya first they will offer to Bhagwan. So what we offer is called naivedya, and after we offer, what we take, that is called prasad of the Lord. Nivedan is what we give. Prasad is what comes from the Lord. So they offer food to the Lord and then only eat. See, these are this 14 abodes of the Lord are such that these also provide to us lot of practical ways of doing sadhana. That our entire day, our whole life can become sadhanamay. We don't have to, devote only some exclusive time and think only that is sadhana. That also we should do, but the whole day becomes sadhana. Like one can wake up, your alarm itself can have, your phone alarm. You can have a ringtone, which can be name of the Lord. So you wake up with Bhagwan's name. As soon as you wake up, sit down and like Gurudev used to chant Om 3 times. Om. Or any name of the Lord. Chant. Like that one can do. While taking bath, Gange Chayamune Chaiva Godavari Saraswati. Lord is in my heart, and this bath I am taking is Abhishek of the Lord. Now that again becomes a sadhana. Then breakfast, that time offer it. Brahmarpanam Brahmavi Brahmagna Brahmanahutam. Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. So every aspect of day-to-day life, this is called divinizing the whole day. Spiritualizing the whole day. And living in the bhav of a sadhak. Now imagine if I start doing this the whole day, how many things will just transform? I can ask myself every time I want to respond, will a sadhak respond like this? Because this house is like that. Every single thing the devotee offers to Bhagwan. See, Prabhu Prasada Pata Bhushana Dharahi. Even the ornaments and the clothes that one wears, one offers to Bhagwan first, saying, Bhagwan, these are yours. I am your servant, and now I am wearing this. You may say, not very practical. Why not? From where did that clothes come? Who produced all this fabric and cotton and all that? It may be produced in some mill or somewhere. But who created it? Bhagwan only created. So it came from the Lord only. All the five elements also came from Bhagwan. So Prabhu Prasada Pata Bhushana Dharahi, Sisa Navahi Sura Guru Dvija Dekhi. And when they see any deity or any murti of the Lord, or they see a guru, or they see a wise person, then they will bow down. Why? Because humility. And the bhav is that one is Bhagwan's Roop, other is Guru, who can lead me to the Lord. Third is a wise person who can teach the Shastra, again which can lead me to the Lord. So indicating humility and receptivity. Today we don't want to bow down to anybody. Each one asks, why should I bow down? Small children, sometimes they do all that, but they want to know, we should explain. But many times the elders also, why should I bow down? Guruji, when he was talking on this prasang, he said one humorous thing. He said, people keep asking, why should I bow down? Whom should I bow down to? And the only two people they bow down in front of is, one is a barber, other is a photographer. If photographer says look down, they look down. Barber says look down, they look down. Otherwise, they don't bow down in front of anybody. Devotee is one who will bow down. Sura Guru Dvija Dekhi. Preeti Sahita Kari Binaya Bisesi. And with lot of love and humility, they will do this. Then, Karanita Karahi Rama Pada Puja. With the hands, they worship the Lord. So, puja is done with the hands. So, all this, Achaman is done, and then the Digbandhana, and then the ringing of the bell, and everything with one hand, offering of the flowers, offering Abhishek, everything. So, with the hands, one does the puja of the Lord. Karanita Karahi Rama Pada Puja. Rama Bharosa Hridaya Nahi Duja. And they depend only on Bhagwan, not on anybody else. Functionally, trust is there, but faith is only in the Lord. We may trust people, but faith is in Bhagwan. That the Lord is always with me and I don't have to be worried. I don't have to be scared. Whatever happens, happens by His will, by His grace. The objective of a puja is to bring this bhav. The bhav of Ishvara Arpan and Prasada Buddhi is what the purpose of a puja is. So they depend only on this, that grace of the Lord. Rama Bharosa Hriday Nahi Duja. Then Charana Rama Tiratha Chali Jahi. With their feet, they go to those places which are Tirthasthana of Bhagwan Ram. So Ayodhya, Chitrakoot, Dandakaranya, Rameshwaram. Go to these sacred places. Tirtha Yatra. And walking. And with the bhav that I am going to these sacred places to have darshan of the Lord. With the bhav of a sadhak, not a bhav of a tourist. Go there, click some pictures, have some darshan, eat some nice food there, and then put some things on the social media. I mean, one can do all that. There's nothing wrong in putting anything on social media, but I'm saying the objective is when I have gone there, what is my bhav? Through the way, what did I do? What is the tapasya did I do? How much did I walk? Because the training is to the senses to walk. Earlier days, so they used to walk. Every full thing they used to walk and go. Now, for whatever reasons, age or any other reason, if we are not able to walk so much, at least walk up to the, from when you get down from the vehicle till the temple and then do the pradakshina. Train the body, train the senses to walk. Tiratha. So, Charana Rama Tiratha Chali Jahi. Ram Basau Tinake Manmahi. So, Lord, you please stay in the hearts of such people who are your Ananya Bhakta. This is the description of that also. Ananya Bhakta doesn't depend on anybody else and trains all the senses to serve the Lord. See, through hands, legs, speech, etc. is already spoken. These are senses of action. Listening, seeing, smelling, tasting, touching, all these are senses of knowledge. So senses of action, senses of knowledge, all these are of the devotee engaged in the Lord. So this is the fourth house. Now, in this Ramayana, who are the devotees? So in Ayodhya Kand, the second half is the description of Bharatji. Bharatji is a devotee like this. Ram bharosa hriday nahi duja. He loves only the Lord and nobody else. Ram bharosa hriday nahi duja. Anyway, it will come Ayodhya Kand when we do. Bharatji's prasang is most beautiful. How easy it is for him to just sit on the throne. When he comes back from the Mama's house, he is supposed to become the Yuvraj. Everybody is happy to let him be the Yuvraj. Happy meaning that now the boon has been given, so it has to be done. He is the only one who says, no, I will not sit. This belongs to only Ram and he has to only sit here, and we will go and call him back. His devotion is a different level. He is an Ananya Bhakta of the Lord. So that is the indication here. So Bharatji, Ayodhya Kand, second half is this. So 4 houses we have seen. Now the 5th house. So the 5th house is from the second half of 3rd Chaupai till Doha 129. Mantra Raju Nita Japahi Tumhara Pujahi Tumhahi Sahita Parivara Tarapana Homa Karahi Vidhinana Viprajivai Dehi Bahudana Tumate Adhika Gurahi Jiya Jani Sakala Bhaya Sevahi Sanamani Sabu Kari Magahi Eka Phalo Ramacharana Ratidho Tinke Mana Mandir Basahu Siya Raghunandana Do Siyavar Ramachandra Ki Jai Pavana Sutta Hanuman Ki Jai Umapati Mahadev Ki Jai Bolo Bhai Sab Santan Ki Jai. Now he says, Mantra Raja Nita Japahi Tumhara. The name of the Lord is the mantra. And amongst all the mantra, this mantra Ram is called Mantra Raj. Shivji also goes on chanting this name. And people, the tradition says that in Kashi when somebody dies, Shivji initiates that jiva into this Tarak mantra, which is Ram, and the jiva gets mukti. So Mantra Raj Nita Japahi Tumhara, one who goes on repeating the name of the Lord. This should become our habit. You know, early in the early days when I came to Mumbai and I was serving here, so we used to take camps to Rishikesh. Sometimes youth camp also we take and go to Uttarkashi, Gangotri, Gomukh and all that. So once when we went to Rishikesh, in one of the ashrams we stayed there. A very beautiful tradition there. Many of you may be aware of that. If you go to when you go to have bhiksha there, you sit on the ground and they will give you the pattal and you sit, you have to eat food there. So how they serve, is very nice. So the person who will bring roti will say roti ram, roti ram, roti ram, roti ram, roti ram, roti ram. Then dal ram, dal ram, dal ram, dal ram, dal ram. Papad ram, like that. For everything they will say that many times that he is walking and he is serving, he is going on saying ram, 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 full. How nice it is. So the automatic bhav of the person also is eating is I am a sadhak who is eating food. The bhoga vritti goes. Bhakti bhav will start rising. And whenever we serve also, we can also serve like that. Because what I am serving is also Ram, whom I am serving is also Ram. And what I want to realize that Lord is in my heart, I am also Ram. Everything is Ram. So continuously, full day one can keep doing. To what extent that the mantra becomes a japa japa. Continuous chanting goes on in the mind. One part of the mind is doing it and it's not mechanical. One part is there with the chanting. It goes on. So mantra Raju Nita Japahi Tumhara. Pujahi Tumahi Sahita Parivara. Now this has two meanings. One is one who worships you with the whole parivar, meaning Ram, Lakshman, Sita, Bharat, Shatrughna, Hanumanji, all of them. Ram Parivar. Or one who sits together as a family and who worships you. Oh, Swamiji, even for dinner we don't get together. Where to do worship together? And who believes today? So half the people don't believe in my family about God at all. Now, how to get them together? Bhagwan's kripa will happen. Don't worry. If you have that sankalpa, and whenever karma happens, it will happen. Each person's punya uday also has to happen. No? So whenever possible, if not on a daily basis, at least on some festive occasions, get together, sit as a family, worship. Festival is meant for that actually. That if we are not able to do daily, at least sit together on those special occasions and worship the Lord. So both ways, one who worships the parivar of the Lord and one who worships the Lord with their parivar. Pujai tumahi sahita parivara. And what do? Tarapana homa karahi vidhi nana. They do tarpan. So tarpan is done for the Pitrus. Tarpan means tripti, tarpayami. So the Pitrus attain Shanti. So that is tarpan. So those who do, meaning those who are doing these duties and dedicating it to you. So tarpan. Homa. Our Vedic culture is based on the yajna. And the deity is invoked in the havan or in the homa, and the ahutis are offered. And that has its own impact on the environment, on the yajman. It can be done with sakam bhav or nishkam bhav. Anyways. Tarapana homa karahi vidhi nana. And at appropriate times, different things that are required, they do it. So during Shraddha Kal, this tarpan, etc. has to be done. And homa can be done on some special occasions, or even if one is doing regularly every day Agnihotra, that is wonderful. Viprajevai dehi bahunana, and they also feed the Brahmanas. So japa, tarpan, homa, Brahman bhoj, puja, all these are given here. And why this is important? Because these are the ways by which we purify all our senses, our mind, our intellect, our prana. See, when we do the puja or a ritual, prana also gets purified. In the Shastra, there is one very important thing given, that when we do japa, so japa can be done one is with nishkam bhav, that one loves to take the name of the Lord, one doesn't want anything else. Just for the love of the Lord, one is chanting. Then there is no fixed quantity, fixed time. You can keep fixed time. Definitely that's a very good thing to do. But through the day also one continues. So that is nishkam bhav, one is just doing out of love for the Lord. Second is, if there is a sakama bhav, I want a specific desire, then I must fix a quantity and a time, and if possible place. But if time and place cannot be fixed because one is traveling and other things, then fix a quantity. And that much japa must be done every day. And the third type is called Anushtan, where this fixed quantity is to be completed within a fixed time period. So let us say every day I will do 100 malas for 1 month. So that is one Anushtan. So whenever Anushtan like this is done, or a Sakam japa is done, then the Shastra says what? As much japa that you do, 1/10 of that one should do Havan, and 1/10 of that one should do Brahman Bhoj. Now what does that mean? Suppose I have done 10,000 japa. 1/10 of that. So I have to do a havan where 1,000 ahutis are offered. And 1/10 of that, feed the brahmanas, is 100. Now, why should one do that? This is to expand the sakama bhav that I have, to ensure that it does not make me selfish, to expand my vision, and also to express gratitude that when the desire is fulfilled, I share. Because even for me to be alive, to do this sadhana and to get the karma phala, there are so many factors contributing. So out of gratitude, I give back. This is what Shastra says. But if I cannot follow this for any reason, maybe financially or whatever reasons it may be, then do yatha shakti. But do some dan, do some havan, some expression of gratitude where you give back. That is one important part. That's why these are put together. So puja hi tumahi sahita parivara tarapana homa karahi vidhinana vipra jevai dehi bahudana. See, Gurudev himself, if you see, when he did the first yajna was for 100 days. At the end of that first yajna, he did annadan for 1 lakh people. 1 lakh people. Because the yajna has happened by the grace of the Lord, and he appealed to people that we want to do annadan. And people also came forward, and annadan was done for all these people. So one is Jnana Bhiksha he is giving, the other is Anna Bhiksha also. Both. So Vipra Jevai Dehi Bahudana. Tumate Adhika Gurahi Jiya Jani. Now this is very strange here. He says, one who thinks of the Guru as greater than you also. Sakala Bhaye Sevahi Sanamani. And, you know, those who wait for that Guru with due honor and devotion, in the heart of such a person you should live. Why? Because Guru is the manifest form of the Lord who takes the disciple to the Lord. Indradumna Raja, he was worshipping the Lord, and Agastya Muni, his Guru, came. He knows that Guru has come, but he didn't get up. He didn't do any pranam or anything. Agastya Muni cursed him, saying that you have become very dull, lethargic, go become an elephant. It is that Indradumna Raja who became that Gajendra. In Bhagavatam, that prasang comes, Gajendra Moksha. That Indradumna Raja was that. In Tulsi Ramayana also one other prasang comes, where Shivji curses one disciple. Why? Because the disciple did not do Guru Satkar of the Guru. The Guru came while he was worshipping. The Shastra goes to that extent to say that if the Guru comes, even if you are worshipping Bhagwan, you shift, including the ahuti which you have to offer or any flower or whatever you have to offer. If the Guru walks in there, instead of offering to Bhagwan, you have to offer it to the Guru. I'm talking about a Param Guru, the realized master, or a one whom one has taken as their Sadguru. That person. If they come there, offer. Why? Because Sadguru and Bhagwan are one. Now, Bhagwan himself came in that form, Chetan form, offer. So that's why Tumate Adhika Gurahi Jiya Jani Sakala Bhaye Sevahi Sanamani. Sab Kari Magahi Eka Falu Rama Charana Rati Ho. All this when one is doing, what does the devotee want? He says, only I want devotion to your lotus feet. Rama Charana Rati Rao. Rama Charana Rati Ho. See, Laukik Prem will give dukkha, lot of sorrow, because there is asakti in that. There is tremendous attachment. But Bhagavad Rati liberates us from all asakti. And in that invokes bhakti bhav in our heart. And what is bhakti? The swarupa bhakti is parama prema rupa amruta swarupacha. It is of the nature of supreme love and immortality and lot of bliss and anand. So he says, I want only that Ramarati. Tinke man mandir basau siya raghunandana do. Now, who are these devotees? The first half of Aranyakand, the devotees like Atri, Anasuya, Sharabhanga Rishi, even Shabari, not first half, quite a bit of the first, the almost till the 3/4 of Aranyakand, all these devotees are like that. That is the fifth house. So first house is those whose ears are like the ocean. Second house, those who are like the Chakor Pakshi, with their eyes they want to see the have the darshan of the Lord. Third, those who are like this swan, who pick up the pearls of the virtues of the Lord and sing. Fourth, all these examples which were given, those who smell what is offered to the Lord, wear what is offered to the Lord, eat what is offered to the Lord, all of those. And fifth, those who are continuously chanting the name of the Lord, doing all these sadhanas, meant for what? Only with the bhav that may I have devotion to the Lord. Now the sixth one. Kama koha madamana namoha lobhana chobhana ragana droha जिनके कपट दंभन हिमाया तिनके हृदय बसहु रघुराया. So kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada. So kama is selfishness or lust. Koha means krodha, anger. Mada is intoxication. Dhana mada, yavana mada, jana mada, all those things. Intoxication of wealth, of power, of youth, of position. Mana is false pride. Moha, delusion, not to see something as it is, but to see it ulta. Lobha, greed. Chobha, agitation of the mind. Raga, attachment. Droha, betrayal. And kapata, cunningness. Jinke kapata, dambha is false pride and hypocrisy. And maya. By saying maya, everything else is covered. So, in whose heart none of these exist, you please stay in the heart of such people. What does this mean? See, all these are actually manifestation of karma only. Selfishness, only when it is fulfilled, gives rise to greed and intoxication and, dambha, false pride and mana, hypocrisy and all these things. And when that is not fulfilled, it will again give rise to krodha, kshobha, mada, many things like this. Not mada, moha. Matsarya, not moha. Matsarya, jealousy. Krodha and matsarya will come because of karma not getting fulfilled. So, he says the person whose heart is nishkam and hence all the rest are not there, you please stay in the hearts of such devotees. Even in Tulsi Ramayana only Bhagavan says, Chala kapata mohi chidrana bhava, nirmal man so mohi pava. One whose mind is nirmal, clean and pure. So we saw senses, we saw speech, now we are coming to the mind. The mind must be clean, pure. How? If we do all those earlier sadhanas mentioned, mind will become pure. So you please stay in the house of such people. Now, who are these devotees? So in the end of this Aranyakand, one Naradji's prasang will come, where Naradji sees the Lord suffering in the forest. And he remembers, Bhagwan is going through this because of my curse. One of the reasons for Bhagwan to take avatar was the curse that Naradji gave. So Naradji is feeling But he's also learned his lesson. And he remembers also that how Bhagwan helped him to get out of Maya, because he says, Nahi dambha nahi Maya. If you remember that prasang of Naradji and Vishwamohini, where Naradji wanted to marry Vishwamohini and Bhagwan wanted to save him, so he did this whole Maya where he made his face look like a monkey. And Naradji at that time got very angry. Earlier, when Kama, Indra tried to destroy his tapasya by sending apsaras, Kama did not rise, Krodha did not rise. So he felt very proud of all that. And he fell. Bhagwan wanted to remove this false pride from him, so the whole Maya he did. And Naradji remembers all that. And now his heart is clean, purified. So that prasang between Naradji and Bhagwan Ram in Aranyakand, where they have a samvad, is a beautiful one. So that is indicated here. So that is the 6th house. So every Kand you may see, the devotees and the main prasangs also are getting covered through this. Then the 7th house is the Chaupai 2 and half of 3rd. Sabke priya sabke hitakari dukha sukha sarisa prasamsagari kahi satya priya vachana bichari jagat sovata sarana tumhari tumahi chadi gati dusari nahi rama basahuti nake manamahi. So here he says sabke priya sabke hitakari. You love everybody and you think of the well-being of everybody. The devotee who is like that, dukha sukha sarisa prasamsagari, even in the difficult times and in happy times, same, who is equanimous. Kahahi satya priya vachana vichari, will always speak the truth, having thought about it very well. Satya priya vichari, so satyam vada, priyam vada, hitam vada, all the three. Kahahi satya priya vachana vichari jagat sovata sarana tumhari, who takes your refuge while being awake also and in sleep also. So while being awake, so we saw whole day one can remember the Lord. While going to sleep also, one can chant the name of the Lord and go to sleep. With what bhav one should go to sleep? I am sleeping in the lap of the Lord. Simple. Such a nice bhav it is. Like how when one is a small child, one sleeps in the lap of the mother, father. Anywhere one falls asleep. That as a small child, any time in the day, the mother or father is carrying, the child goes off to sleep. Bhagwan is our mother, father. When we go to sleep, we can sleep with that bhav that I am sleeping in the lap of the Lord. Bhagwan's hand is on my head. Bhagwan is putting me to sleep. One can have that bhav and go to sleep, peacefully go to sleep. While chanting the name of the Lord, having this bhav, one goes to sleep. That's why I said, this whole prasang is very nice. That whole day can become sadhanamay. One doesn't have to ask separately, can you tell me what to do now? Full day can be sadhana, not one thing. Full time, including sleep. Even science accepts that what we think at the time of sleep goes deep into the subconscious mind. And that's why they say that while watching TV, you should not go to sleep, because when one is drowsy and one is falling asleep, one is opening up the subconscious mind much more. What all goes inside? So that's not a very healthy way to actually sleep, especially if one is watching any of the things which are going to create agitation or some horror movie or any such thing. One should sleep. Nowadays, people say that you should not have a screen before you, at least half an hour before sleep. Otherwise, those sleep hormones don't get released in the body. It's the best way to sleep. Just sleep quietly, thinking I am in the lap of the Lord, and go on taking the name of the Lord and just sleep. Over. So, Jagata Sovata Sarana Tumhari. Because somebody will ask, how can he be taking charan in sleep also? That bhakta is like that. Will not waste one moment, means like this. Even in sleep, the sadhana goes on. Now, who is the devotee here? So the Kishkinda Kand, the beginning part, and Hanumanji is one devotee indicated through the Kishkinda Kand beginning part here. He is the Ananya Bhakta. Hanumanji will come again also. Then, this is the 7th house. Then the 8th house. Third and second half of third and fourth chaupai. Janani samaja nahi par nari dhanu parava visha te visha bhari je har shahi par sampati dekhi dukhita hohi par vipati viseshi जिनहि राम तुम प्राण प्यारे तिनके मन शुभ सदन तुम्हारे जननी सम जानहि पर नारी. One who looks at any other woman only as one's mother. Dhanu parava vishate vishabhari. And they look at the wealth of other people as though it is poison, meaning not to be consumed, not to be, not try to cheat somebody, plunder their wealth, or be jealous of their wealth. Nothing. What is their attitude? Jay harshai parasampati dekhi. If somebody is, wealthy, affluent, has abundance, one feels happy for them. One doesn't feel jealous. One doesn't feel irritated. Why this person has so much of wealth? And how will I extract maximum out of this person? No bhav like that. And dukhita hohi para bipati visheshi. When somebody else is suffering, looking at their sorrow, this person feels sad and tries to remove that sorrow. Compassion. Jinai Rama Tuma Prana Piyare. And for whom the Lord is dearer than their life. Tinake Mana Subha Sadana Tumhare. Their home is the best abode for you. Now, who are these devotees? In Kishkinda Kand, second part, you see Sugriva has sent all these Vanaras to search for Bhagwan Ram, for to Mother Sita. So the party which goes with Hanumanji, they come across wealth, riches. They go into that gufa where a yogini is also there. And they are doing all this. Why? Because the Lord's, their Bhagwan is more greater to them than their own life. And how they feel the temptation is there for all of them also. But no proper food they have had, no water proper. They have been searching for days on end, and Sugriva has given them an ultimatum that by this time, if you don't return with any news, I will finish you. So they are searching like mad. Finally, when they reach that cave, the yogini there who is there, she gives them fruits and water to drink. That time they finally eat. So the idea here is Swayamprabha, that's the gufa. Swayamprabha is the yogini in that gufa. But they don't get influenced by anything on the way. Because see, Vali has a lot of power. Vali has snatched away the wife of Sugriv. Captured, sent him away and taken the kingdom and all that. But these monkeys who are with Sugriv and Bhagavan Ram have done a friendship. So all these monkeys are very devoted. See, they did not say that your wife has been kidnapped, why should we go and search for her? Why should we put ourselves into trouble? They very devoutly went. Each of them did so much of hard work. They are indicated here. That they had enough opportunity to live in luxury. In fact, Sugriv does that. Now he forgets that once Vali is killed, he gets the kingdom, then the monsoon starts and he is in revelry. And Bhagwan is waiting when the monsoon gets over, then Sugriv has to immediately send. Sugriv has forgotten. And when Lakshmanji is sent to speak to Sugriv, he sees Sugriv being so indulgent, he gets very angry. So that all prasang comes in Ramayana. But these monkeys, finally, who have been sent out, Hanumanji, Angad, all of these who are leading this group of monkeys, they go through a lot of problems. See, other groups also have gone. We should not forget that. 4 groups went. One group went towards the south. Other 3 directions, those who went, they also are indicated here. They are also all searching very sincerely. So that is the 8th house. When we look at somebody's prosperity, we don't feel jealous. We admire them. We wish well for them. And when we look at somebody's sorrow, we try to go and remove their sorrow. And our vision towards other people, the women, for women it will be men, the opposite gender, is of reverence, respect, not looking at them as objects of pleasure. Is the bhava of a sadhak. So this is the 8th house. Then the 9th house is the Doha 130. Swami Sakha Pitu Matu. Sorry, the tune is different. Swami Sakha Pitu Matu Guru. Swami Sakha Pitu Matu Gura. Jinake Sabatu Matat. Mana Mandir Tinake Basahu. Siya Sahita Do Brat Siyavar Ramachandra Ki Jai. Pavan Sutta Hanuman Ki Jai. उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय. So he says Swami, for whom you are everything, basically. Swami, Sakha, Swami means master, Sakha, friend, Pitu, father, Matu, mother, Guru, the teacher, Jinake sab tumatat. What we say now, Tvameva Mata cha Pita Tvameva, Tvameva Bandhu cha Sakha Tvameva. One who has surrendered to the Lord completely, Man Mandir Tinake Basu Siyar Sahita Do Bhat. In the heart of such people, you please remain there. See, meaning one who serves all of these also with that bhav. That is one meaning. So if I serve my family, my mother, father, siblings, as family members, that is my kartavya karma. I have to do as my duty. But if I serve them with the bhav that I am serving Bhagwan only through all of them, then that becomes karma yoga. So one meaning is one who serves all of these with this bhav. Other meaning is that one for whom Bhagwan is everything. Meaning, see, all these relationships, we want different things in each relationship. There's love of the parents, then the guidance from the teacher, serving some master and wants some remuneration or any such thing. So each one, with friends, one has a certain type of a relationship. So there's emotional needs from each one. Functional and emotional needs are different from each one. One who has all these needs fulfilled only from the Lord, who doesn't depend on any other psychological relationship, is not dependent on, for one's inner sense of happiness and emotional security. One will do one's duty towards them with the bhav, I am serving the Lord. But one will not get into that dependency or expectation that they should do like this to me, speak like this to me, nothing. One goes and serves with the bhav. Who is referred here? Sundarkand, Hanumanji is referred here. When he crosses over the ocean and he goes there to meet Sitaji, the bhav that he has is this, that Bhagwan's work has to happen. Bhagwan is everything for him. So the beginning of Sundarkand, Hanumanji is indicated here. Now the 10th house. Avagunata jisabake gunagahi vipradhenu hita sankata sahahi नीति निपुण जिन कई जगली का घर तुम्हार तिन कर मुनि का. The 10th house. So he says, Avaguna taji sabke guna gahahi. One who overlooks the faults of others and who praises their virtues. Praises meaning inculcate. Vipradhenu hita sankata sahahi. For the sake of the wise people, the cow, they may go through even difficulty. Sankata sahai. Niti nipurna jina kai jagalika. Expert in niti, administration, politics, all this. Ghar tumhar tin kar manunika. You please build your house in the mind of such a person. So now one who sees the good qualities of others and removes overlooks the faults. Overlooks the faults meaning doesn't brand them as bad people, condemn them, will appropriately speak to them when it is necessary for those bad qualities, but looks more at the positive virtues, values, and who is ready to stand up for dharma. Vipradhenu symbolize dharma. For the protection of dharma, one may go through any difficulty. And very clear and expert in niti. So dharma also one knows, niti one knows, and very good in managing people. Such devotees. So who is referred to here? The devotee Vibhishan is referred to here. In Sundarkand, when Vibhishan comes and finally surrenders, he went through so much of trouble. You just think about Vibhishanji's character also, such a glorious character. In the entire Lanka, there is only one house, which is a devotee's house. Surrounded by all asuras and rakshasas, he is living there, but his bhakti is so protected and strong. Think about that. Hanumanji recognizes the house of Vibhishanji because there is a tulsi plant and there is Hari Chinna, the sign of the Lord Hari on the house. And in Brahma Muhurat, Vibhishanji gets up and suddenly Hanumanji is hearing Ram, Ram, Ram. He said, in Lanka, who is chanting Ram? And male voice it is. Sita ji may be one person, but here is a male voice and Brahma Muhurat, he has got up. So he finds and he goes there. And after meeting Hanumanji only, Vibhishan also gets the strength to voice out against Ravan, and finally he surrenders to Bhagavan. So he is a devotee like that. For the sake of dharma, he surrenders to the Lord also. And he leaves his Ravan and everybody. So this is the devotee Vibhishanji. Then, Guna tumhara samujhai nija dosa, jehi sab bhati tumhara bharosa, Rama bhagat priya laga hi jehi, tehi ur basahu sahita vaidehi. Whatever goodness is there, it belongs to Bhagavan. Guna tumhara samujhai. And whatever limitations are there belong to oneself. Nija dosa. Jehi sab bhati tumhara bharosa. In all ways, one who depends only on you, Rama bhagata priya lagahi jehi. And who loves the devotees of the Lord. Tehi ura basahu sahita vaidehi. In his home, in his heart, you please stay with Vaidehi. So now what does this mean? This is again humility, that whatever is glorious belongs to Bhagavan. And this is not false humility. The devotee feels that whatever is glorious belongs to Bhagavan, and what is a dosha belongs to me. So I have to work on getting out of dosha. See, this is a very, very delicate thing. This is not self-condemnation, because some people will misunderstand this, go into depression or go into some, negative thinking that I am a very wicked person, bad person. Sorry. So when a devotee says this, that all the guna belong to Bhagavan and the dosha belong to me, this is not to condemn oneself or look down upon oneself or keep finding fault with oneself. This is genuine humility, saying ki whatever dosha is there, let me work on it and rectify it. All guna anyway is Bhagwan's kripa only. So the ahankara of the guna does not come, and the ninda of the dosha does not come. With the kripa of the Lord, I will overcome. Just like we have a disease, suppose we have a headache or we have a toothache, what will we do? We go to the doctor, take the medicine. We don't sit and condemn ourselves. In the same way, devotee will overcome the dosha. One may have done some, one may have some faults. So who is indicated here? In this end of Sundar Kand again, this prasang comes of Samudra Devata. So Samudra Devata does not give way. And Bhagwan is doing tapasya there and he doesn't give way. So finally Bhagwan takes the arrow and he wants to dry up the ocean. Then Samudra Devata gets very, he repents. So that repentance is this, that Nija dosa, it is his fault. He accepts that and he surrenders to the Lord, and he then allows all the devotees of the Lord to build the bridge. And it is said very nicely that when the bridge was being built, the bridge that they built was smaller and the Vanar Sena is very big. So how to cross very fast? So lot of these whales and sharks and all these huge creatures of the ocean, they all come. And beautiful description is when they look at Bhagwan Ram, they go into samadhi. So they are in samadhi. When they are looking at Bhagwan Ram, they are already in samadhi, and they are very sturdy creatures, huge. So the bridge suddenly extends and becomes very wide. And in that samadhi, they remain till the entire Vanar Sena crosses. So Samudra Devata, he also got darshan of Bhagwan, blessings of the Lord, and all these Jalchar, all of the creatures of the ocean also got darshan of Bhagwan. They also went into samadhi. The monkeys crossed the whole army, a whole bridge. And the arrow that Bhagwan had lifted, Bhagwan's Ban is Amogha. So Bhagwan said, now this way I cannot remove this Ban and put it back. It has to hit somewhere. So Samudra Devata says, there is a particular place where these Rakshasas are there and they go on troubling me too much. You please kill all of them. So Bhagwan does the vadha of those Rakshasas also. And some people tell me that that place is called Rajasthan. The arrow where Bhagwan hit, that place is called Rajasthan, where all these asuras were living there, it seems. Anyway, how true is that, I don't know, but that's what people say. So the idea here is that this is indicating such devotees who have that bhav to continuously work upon themselves to eliminate any of these negativities, what was said earlier, kama, koham, moha, all these. Who eliminates all that and who considers Bhagwan's devotees very dear. One who serves the devotee of the Lord becomes dearer to the Lord very quickly. More than serving the Lord, serving the devotees of the Lord is dearer to the Lord. Now you just think about it. Already it was said about Guru, consider the Guru greater than the Lord. Now it said consider the devotee also very dear. So Bhagwan is also not like, in the world they say egoistic person who accumulates everything only for oneself. Bhagwan is not like that. He takes away our ego, makes us one with him. And then who serve the devotee. That's why in Gajendra Moksha, before Gajendra got mukti, that crocodile got mukti. Because the crocodile was holding the feet of the devotee, who is Gajendra. So Gajendra got mukti later. This crocodile got mukti first. So Rama Bhagat Priya Lagahi Jehi. So that is the 11th house. Now the 12th house. Jati Pati Dhanu Dharam Badai Priya Parivar Sadana Sukhadai Sabataji Tumahi Rahai Uralai Tehi Ke Hridaya Raha Ragurai. So one who has removed all these differences of jati, pati, the caste, creed, economic status, wealth, dharam, the religion that they follow, badai, their glory, power, and priya parivar, dear family also. Sadhana Sukhdai, great comfortable house. Sab taji tumahi rahai uralai. All this they have given up and they surrender to you. Tehi ke hriday rahu raghurai. In their heart, you please stay, O Lord. So these are the devotees who sacrifice everything for the Lord. So Lanka Kand, one can see monkeys. One example is that all these monkeys are fighting for the Lord, leaving all this. To a certain extent, we can also say Mandodari. She is also one devotee who goes on reminding the Lord, who goes on reminding Ravan about the Lord. See, who is this Bhagavan Ram and why are you taking a, duel or a fight with him? Just return Sita. So Sabatajit Tumahi Rahai Uralai. She tells him, you leave all this, you have false pride and all these things. Just go and surrender to Ram. He is the Lord of the universe. And he tells him that he has killed Hiranyakashipu, he has killed Hiranyaksha, he has killed all these mighty powers. And he is not ordinary human. You think of him as a human. So that is about this Lanka Kand. Then the 13th house. Now see, in this 12th house, so I will take 10 more minutes and we will just complete this prasang. Sorry for extending the time. So, in this one very nice anecdote comes, Mirabai, when her husband passed away, she had a lot of trouble from the family members to practice bhakti. So she wrote to Tulsidas ji, what should I do? Tulsidas ji's reply was what? Tulsidas ji's reply came, Jinke priyana Rama Vaidehi tajiye koti vairi sama yadyapi paramasanahi. If somebody does not have devotion for the Lord and Sita ji, you should abandon them like koti vairi sama, like crores of enemies, though they may be your very dear ones. And Mirabai leaves the family, she becomes a jogan. See, this is not a license for, leaving the family and running away wherever one wants. No. The kind of bhakti that Mirabai had, in that this is an obstacle. That capacity and that intensity of bhakti when it is there, and if something is as an obstruction coming, then one has to leave. Like Siddhartha had that much of vairagya that he left. So in that way here, that's why he says, Sabtaji tumahi rahai uralai. Vibhishanji also is one devotee. Again, in Lanka Kand, it is Vibhishanji only who is telling Bhagavan Ram how to kill Ravan. There is a kalash in his navel. And until you don't destroy that, his heads will keep coming and you can't, he will not die. So he's left all these, jati, pati, dhan, dharma, all this he left when he surrendered to Bhagavan Ram. And without any interest in all those, he genuinely wants the Sita ji to come back. So he wants that the Lord's mission must be accomplished. He has no craving for that he will become the king. He may not. Bhagwan may take up the kingdom. So he has no such interest about being a king. And he has left all those comforts anyways. And finally he tells Bhagwan Ram, you please do this, and Ravan is finally destroyed. So we can say that also is one indicator. Now the 13th house. Saragunara ko abvarga.
I can unmute.
Taha taha dekha dhare dhan. Karma vachana man rau rachera Rama karahu tehi ke uradera. He says Swarga Naraka. One for whom Swarga and Naraka are same. Apavarga also. Apavarga means moksha. So Pavarga, Pa, Pha, Ba, Bha, Ma. They symbolize 5 things which are problematic. Pa is for Papa. Pha is Phala, Karma Phala. Ba is Bandhan. Pa, Pha, Ba. Bha, Bhaya. And Ma is Moha. Pavarga means these 5. Papa, Phala, Bandhan, Bhaya and Moha. Apavarga meaning the state of mukti where these 5 don't exist. One who does not, one for whom Swarga, Naraka and Moksha all are same. See, many people don't want Naraka, they want Swarga. A seeker or a devotee may not want Swarga, will want Moksha. But this Ananya Bhakta is one who doesn't want Moksha also, who wants only continuous remembrance of the Lord. Jaha taha dekha dhare dhanu bana. Wherever he sees you as though you are there everywhere holding a bow and arrow. Karma vachana mana raura chera. With the actions and with the speech, one who is your servant completely, Rama karahu tehi keura dera. You please stay in the heart of that devotee. This is in Uttarakhand, beginning. Bharatji is this devotee who has served the Lord's kingdom, served the kingdom as the Lord's servant. And who had told Bhagavan that if you delay by 1 day also and you don't come exactly at the end of 14th day, I will immolate myself. So that Uttarakhand, this Bharatji is referred to here. Now the last one is the 14th house is Doha 131. Jahina chahiya kabahu kachu tumasana sahajasane ho. Basahu nirantarata sumana soraura nijage husiyavar Ramachandra ki jai Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki jai Umapati Mahadev ki jai Bolo bhai sab santan ki jai. Finally he says Jahina chahiya kabahu kachu. At any time one wants nothing, at no time one wants anything. Tumasana sahajasanehu. Only the sahaj bhav of bhakti towards you. That's what the earlier state also was. The devotee doesn't want moksha also. So devotee doesn't mind being born again. See, the birth is not a problem. Problem is ignorance. Ignorance of the self in the language of knowledge and forgetfulness of the Lord, Vismriti. In the Narad Bhakti Sutra it is said that the most painful thing for a devotee is Tad Vismarane Parama Vyakulta. When one forgets the Lord, then there is a lot of pain. The devotee doesn't want to forget Bhagavan. If the devotee has the blessing of the Lord that you will remember me at all times, devotee doesn't mind being born anywhere in any form also. Like a stone or like a tree or a plant or a bird, animal, human, anywhere. So birth and death is not a problem. That's why bhakti is called Pancham Purusharth. He's beyond moksha also, para bhakti. He says one who has that sahaj saneha is the natural affinity towards you. Basahu nirantara tasumana. You stay in their heart. Bhagavan is already in their heart actually. Jo raur nija gehu. Because that is your own house. It's a very beautiful nija gehu. See, if you are in somebody's house, how long can you stay? Few days, few months. One has to go after that. But in one's own house, no problem. Stay forever. Same way, if some other country one has gone to, one stays there only as long as the visa expires. But if one is in one's own country, one lives. Nobody is asking, how long will you stay? No. So this 14th one is as though Bhagwan's own house. This is your own house. You stay here full time as long as you want, because the devotee doesn't want anything else. He is fully empty. The Jivan Mukta. So now, who is indicated here? Sanakadi Rishis and Naradji and all of them who come in Uttarakhand just before Bhagwan, the episode of Sita Ji happens, and after that, just before Bhagwan has to depart. Actually, after episode of Sita Ji, then the ruling Ram Rajya etc. is done. That time they all come, they do satsang with the Lord and all that. So those devotees are referred to here. They are Ananya Bhaktas of the Lord, in whose heart the Lord lives continuously. So now these are 14 abodes of the Lord. And Valmiki ji says, Ehi vidhi munivara bhavana dekhaye, bachana saprema rama mana bhaye. In this way, Valmiki ji told Bhagwan about 14 abodes, and through these 14 abodes, he has created the whole Ramayana also, covered all the main devotees and prasang of Ramayana. Kahamoni sunahu bhanu kulu nayaka, ashrama kahahu samaya sukhadayak. But Bhagwan is looking at him saying, okay, this is all very metaphorical, is wonderful, but physically, where do I stay? I need one house. In this form I have come, I need one home. Where do I stay? So Valmiki says, okay, I will tell you. You are the glory of this Raghukul. So I will tell you where you can make the ashram. Yes, Chitrakoot Giri Karahu Nivasu, Taha Tumara Sab Bhati Supasu. You stay in Chitrakoot. That is a very sacred mountain, and all comfort and well-being, everything will be taken care of there. And there are great yogis who are doing tapasya. Atriji is there, Anasuya Devi is there, and Anasuya Devi's tapasya, she brought Gangaji right there near Chitrakoot in the form of Mandakini. So Mandakini is there. Chitrakoot is a beautiful mountain. There are lots of wonderful creatures there and beautiful forest, and lot of yogis, bhaktas who are doing tapasya, who want your darshan. So you please go and stay there. Nobody will feel any disturbance there, and you will also get continuous satsang. So that prasang comes here. So this 14 abodes of the Lord, now if you actually see, Valmiki ji has given, for Nirgun Nirakar, he did the Stavan already. The Nirgun Nirakar is present everywhere. Then for Sagun Nirakar also, he did the Stuti as Ishvara. For Sagun Sakar, the form of the Lord with qualities, these 14 abodes, which are the mental qualities, those are given. So Tatvik house is the absolute state. Then Adhyatmik Bhavan is all these 14 abodes. And then there is actually Leela Ashram. The Tatvik Ashram, Adhyatmik Ashram, and the Leela Ashram is in Chitrakoot. So this way, the 14 abodes of the Lord are covered very beautifully in this Tulsi Ramayana Prasang. So we pray to the Lord that may the Lord make an abode in our heart. We should make our heart like these 14 abodes, and let Bhagwan come and stay in our heart. He is actually already in our heart, just that we are not recognizing him. So once we do our cleansing, may the Lord reveal himself to all of us. Bolo Siyavar Ramachandra ki Jai. So for today we will stop here. Just before we end, one announcement I just want to make is the next Sunday we will be having the Guru Purnima Satsang. There is a beautiful program in the morning from 9 to 11:30, and there is also in the evening 7 to 10. So in the morning Puja Guruji will be speaking, and then there are various other programs, the chanting of Guru Gita, etc. will be happening. And in the evening we have Swarupananji speaking, and then there are bhajan programs, including Guruji's bhajan program. So I'm just going to show that here on the screen, so you can make note of those details here. And also we will have between 4 and 6, we will have the what we call Guru Purnima Satsang that I will be doing, Chinmay Mission Mumbai will be doing. So that program detail I'm going to share here, and you have to register for that also. I will be putting up the link in this chat, then you can register for that. The other two programs, the morning and evening program, the program is what we call on YouTube, Chinmay channel, it will be live. So you can just directly go onto the Chinmay channel and watch that. So I'm just going to share the screen here and you will find that. So this is the Guru Purnima Satsang for which you have to register, and I'm putting the registration link here. You, in your chat window, you will get this link. Please use this link to register just like you registered for today's satsang. This is the link for the Guru Purnima Sadhana. We will have different wings of the Chinmay mission coming together, and you will listen to Gurudev speaking about various great masters. So we'll have those clips and various sadhanas like Guru Paduka Puja, bhajans, mantra japa, meditation, all that. So please register for this, and you can share this with anybody else. The link is given in the chat. Open your chat window and you will find the link in that. So that is one announcement. And the second announcement is after 5th July, so 12th July onwards, our regular Tulsi Ramayan class will also go on. And so if anybody wants to join that, our Tulsi Ramayan class, then you are welcome to join that also. And the link for that, I will just put again. Some of you have registered already, so that is great. But some of you, if you want to register, you are welcome to join. Just give me a minute. I'm just going to share that link here. Don't confuse these two links. One is only for next week's satsang, and one is for what Chinmay has just now put. Chinmay, this is a PayU link that you have put. You have to,
hello.
Hello. Yeah, Chinmay, you have put the.
Yeah. This is the PayU link for the registration. I'm sending the registration form as well.
Yeah, the registration link. You have to register at this link, bit.ly trbk2019. Once you fill up that, you will get an email with a lot of other details with the dates and other things. So you please register here. And the earlier link given here is the link for the contribution. And the first link given here is for next Sunday's satsang. Thank you. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.